What happens when a driver keeps getting wrecked? And every time he opens his mouth, he makes it worse. Bubba Wallace just had another car-destroying Sunday in Nashville. And instead of keeping his head down, he went public with a complaint that lit up NASCAR Twitter like a tire fire. The fans fired back hard. And honestly, you need to hear both sides of this. Sunday night, Nashville Superspeedway, the Cracker Barrel 400. Bubba Wallace, driving the number 23 Toyota for 23XI Racing, never saw the checkered flag. A collision took him out, another DNF in what has become a brutal recurring pattern for this team in 2225. After the race, Wallace addressed the media. He said he was tired of showing up, racing hard, and then becoming, in his words, the bad guy in the days that follow. Fans heard that, processed it, and responded with a unified message. Enough. This isn't an isolated bad weekend. A number 23 car has been collecting crash exits all season long. Race after race, something goes wrong. And race after race, the conversation shifts from the damage to the driver's attitude in the aftermath. Here's where this gets really complicated. Bubba's teammate at 23XI is Tyler Reddick. Same organization, same resources, same manufacturer, and Reddick has multiple wins on the year. That contrast is impossible to ignore, and NASCAR fans aren't ignoring it. This isn't just about one wreck in Nashville. It's about a pattern that's stretched deep into the season and a driver who, every time the cameras come on, seems to generate more controversy than sympathy. Let's be straight about something. Crashes in NASCAR are not always the driver's fault. Contact sports have contact. That is a real thing, and it would be unfair to dump every incident entirely on Wallace. But here's the issue, and it's a big one. When you're a professional athlete in a high-profile sport, perception is part of your job. The moment you publicly frame yourself as a victim of fan bias, you shifted the story. You're no longer talking about the wreck. You're talking about you versus your own fan base. That is a fight no athlete ever wins. The comparison to Reddick cuts even deeper analytically. If the equipment were the problem, Reddick wouldn't be stacking wins. That means the gap lives somewhere in the execution, in decision-making on the track, in race management, or inconsistency under pressure. Those are areas a driver controls. Wallace calling out the fans as the problem sidesteps all of that, and serious NASCAR observers aren't going to let that slide. The smart play here was silence, or better yet, accountability. Say you're working on it. Say you're watching the tape. Instead, he handed his critics exactly the quote they needed. Social media made it clear Wallace has very little goodwill left to spend on this type of comment. Fan responses range from exasperated to blunt. The Reddick comparison came up again and again, and the language wasn't subtle. Words like excuses and blame dominated the replies. A few fans actually wrote that they tried to support him, wanted to root for him, and then he started talking. That last part is the most telling. It's not hatred, it's exhaustion. There's a meaningful portion of the NASCAR audience that would genuinely like to cheer for Bubba Wallace, but every public reaction he gives after a tough race seems designed to push those people away. Wallace goes quiet, puts his head down in Michigan, and lets his driving do the talking. A clean finish, even a solid points run, resets the narrative fast. NASCAR fans are forgiving when the performance earns it. One strong stretch could bury this entire storyline. Another DNF, another post-race press conference, another round of headlines that have nothing to do with the racing. At that point, the conversation stops being about performance and starts being about whether his seat at 23XI is sustainable long-term. So here's the real question, and we want your actual take down in the comments. Is Bubba Wallace a driver being treated unfairly by a fan base that's already made up its mind? Or has his own reaction to adversity become the biggest problem in his career? Because those are two very different conversations, and only one of them ends with him still in a Cup Series car 2 years from now. Drop your take below. And if you want this level of NASCAR breakdown every single week, you already know what to do.